Ares, the god of war, stood at the intersection of chaos and valor, a figure both revered and reviled. In the pantheon of Greek mythology, he was the embodiment of the brutal and savage aspects of combat, a relentless force that thrived on the clamor of battle. Unlike his sister Athena, who represented strategy, wisdom, and the art of war, Ares was the raw, unrefined essence of conflict. Where Athena calculated, Ares charged ahead, driven by an insatiable thirst for bloodshed and glory. This impulsiveness defined him, a double-edged sword that made him a formidable warrior, yet rendered him universally unpopular among gods and mortals alike. Born to Zeus and Hera, Ares was not the favored child of the Olympian family. His siblings, particularly Athena, were celebrated for their intellect and skill, while Ares was often dismissed as a mere brute, a savage who reveled in destruction. His very presence on the battlefield invoked fear and awe, but it was a fear rooted in chaos rather than respect. To the Greeks, war was not merely a means to an end. It was an art, and Ares, with his reckless abandon, was seen as a clumsy artist splattering paint with little regard for form or beauty. Ares thrived in the tumult of conflict, his heart beating in time with the clash of swords and the cries of the fallen. He was often depicted clad in armor, a bloodied spear in one hand and a shield in the other, charging into the fray with a fervor that bordered on madness. His laughter, a chilling sound that echoed over the battlefield, was a testament to his delight in the chaos he created. For Ares, war was not merely a duty, it was a dance, a chaotic ballet of violence where he was both performer and audience. Yet, this passion for war came at a cost. Ares was impulsive, often rushing headlong into battle without a second thought. His decisions were driven by emotion rather than strategy, leading to disastrous consequences not only for himself, but for those who followed him. In the eyes of the gods, Ares was a fool, a reckless warrior whose actions often turned the tide of war against his own allies. The tales of his failures were as numerous as those of his victories, and they served to isolate him further from the other deities. One such tale told of a conflict between the Greeks and the Trojans, a war steeped in honor and pride. Ares, eager to prove his might, joined the fray, his presence igniting the passions of both sides. Yet, in his fervor, he failed to heed the counsel of Athena, who warned him of the dangers of overreaching. Blinded by his desire for glory, Ares charged into battle, only to find himself ensnared in a trap laid by the cunning Odysseus. His impulsiveness led to his capture, and he was held prisoner in a cage of bronze, a humiliating fate for a god of war. This incident did not go unnoticed by the other deities. They watched with a mix of disdain and pity as Ares struggled against his bonds, his cries echoing through the halls of Olympus. His imprisonment served as a stark reminder of the consequences of his reckless nature, a lesson that would fall on deaf ears. For Ares, the thrill of battle was an addiction, one that he could not resist, even in the face of humiliation. The unpopularity of Ares was not solely due to his impulsiveness. It was also rooted in the nature of warfare itself. To the Greeks, war was a necessary evil, a means to protect one's home and honor. It required strategy, diplomacy, and sacrifice. Ares, however, represented the darker side of conflict, the bloodlust, the destruction, the loss of humanity that accompanied it. His presence on the battlefield often escalated violence, leading to unnecessary bloodshed and suffering. As such, he became a symbol of the chaos that could ensue when war was pursued without thought or restraint. In contrast, Athena was celebrated as the goddess of wisdom and warfare, a strategist who understood the complexities of conflict. She was revered for her ability to guide heroes and armies to victory through cunning and intelligence. Ares, on the other hand, was seen as a brute, a figure who acted on instinct rather than reason. This dichotomy between the two siblings highlighted the duality of war itself, the balance between the necessity of conflict and the chaos it could unleash. Despite his flaws, Ares was not without his moments of brilliance. In the heat of battle, he could inspire fear in his enemies, rallying his warriors with a fierce intensity. His very presence could turn the tide of a skirmish, and for those who followed him, there was a certain thrill in fighting alongside the god of war. Yet, these moments were fleeting, overshadowed by the consequences of his actions. The warriors who fought with him often found themselves caught in the crossfire of his impulsiveness, their fates intertwined with his reckless nature. Ares's relationships with other gods were equally tumultuous. He often clashed with Zeus, who viewed his son's behavior as a threat to the order of the cosmos. Hera, too, was critical of Ares, viewing him as a disappointment. In contrast, he found a strange camaraderie with the likes of Eris, the goddess of strife, who reveled in the chaos that Ares created. Together they embodied the darker aspects of conflict, reveling in the discord they sowed among mortals and gods alike.
His most notorious affair was with Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Their union was a paradox, a collision of war and love that produced a host of offspring, including Phobos, fear, and Deimos, terror. This relationship further alienated Ares from the other gods, who viewed it as a mockery of the sacred bonds of love. Aphrodite, with her grace and charm, contrasted sharply with Ares's brutality, and their love affair was often seen as a tumultuous dance between two opposing forces. While Ares embodied the violence of war, Aphrodite represented the beauty of life, and their connection served as a reminder of the complexities of existence. As Ares wandered the battlefields of ancient Greece, he became a figure of both fascination and revulsion. Warriors would invoke his name before charging into battle, hoping to gain his favor. Yet they also understood the danger of his influence. To fight alongside Ares was to embrace the chaos of war, to surrender to the primal instincts that lay dormant in every warrior's heart. Yet, for many, the cost of that surrender was too great, a price paid in blood and sorrow.
The tales of Ares's exploits were woven into the fabric of Greek mythology, each story a reflection of his character. In one tale, he was defeated by the cunning of Athena, who outsmarted him in a contest of strength and strategy. In another, he was bested by the hero Heracles, who captured him and imprisoned him in a jar for an entire year. Each defeat served as a reminder of Ares's impulsiveness, a testament to the idea that brute strength alone could not conquer the complexities of war. Despite his flaws, Ares continued to be a figure of intrigue. His very existence challenged the notion of what it meant to be a warrior. He was a reminder that war, while necessary at times, could also lead to destruction and chaos. His character represented the savage aspects of fighting, the primal instincts that lay within every human being. In a world where honor and glory were sought after, Ares stood as a cautionary tale, a god who embodied the darker side of conflict, a reminder that the line between heroism and savagery was often blurred. In the end, Ares remained an enigma, a god of war whose legacy was defined by both his triumphs and failures. He was a warrior whose heart beat with the rhythm of battle, a figure who danced on the edge of chaos. While he may have been unpopular among the gods and mortals, he was, nonetheless, an essential part of the tapestry of Greek mythology, a reminder that within the heart of every warrior lies the potential for both glory and destruction. His story serves as a reflection of the complexities of human nature, a testament to the duality of war, and a reminder that even the mightiest of gods can fall prey to their own impulses.